Okay, let's be real. The AI landscape is just exploding, right? It feels like every single week there's some new model that promises to change everything. So what we're going to do here is cut right through all that noise. I'm going to give you a clear, simple guide to the 2025 AI marketplace so you can actually understand the key players and, make smarter choices. Let's get into it. I mean, you've seen the names plastered everywhere. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, Kimi, Llama. The list just goes on, doesn't it? And every single one launches with this massive wave of hype. It's almost impossible to keep track of who's who, what does what, and which one is actually the best for you. So, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, trust me, you are not alone. It's that classic paradox of choice. And here's the thing. Using the wrong AI is kind of like trying to haul a bunch of furniture with a Lamborghini. It's just inefficient and super frustrating. Think of this explainer as your roadmap. We're going to cover the key players, what makes them different, and most importantly, how to pick the right tool for whatever job you have. All right, so to get started, let's zoom out a bit, because even though it feels like there are dozens and dozens of companies, there are really just 4 organizations that are setting the pace for the entire industry. So think of this as our guided tour, and we're starting with the titans: OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and Meta. First up, the one everybody and their grandma knows, OpenAI. Their strategy was actually pretty simple but totally brilliant. They were the first to really break through with ChatGPT, and they bet everything on getting it into the hands of as many people as humanly possible. And it worked. Just like we all say we're Googling something, people now literally say they'll ChatGPT an answer. That right there, that's the power of just massive consumer adoption. And when I say massive, I mean look at this number. This is insane. That's not their total user count. No, that's the weekly active user count for ChatGPT. Over 200 million people every single week. That kind of scale gives them this huge, almost unfair advantage in brand recognition and just tons of data to keep improving their models. It's exactly why they're still the default choice for so many people. Okay, next up is Anthropic, who I like to call the thoughtful challenger. Their whole philosophy is basically captured by this image of a shield. I mean, they were literally founded by former OpenAI leaders who bailed because they had serious safety concerns. Their big idea? Something called constitutional AI. It's a fancy way of saying they train their models on core principles to be helpful, harmless, and honest above everything else. This safety-first approach is what really sets them apart in a field that's kind of obsessed with just raw power. Now, Anthropic might have a smaller audience than OpenAI, for sure, but they have these fiercely loyal fans, especially in the developer community. Why? Because their latest model is widely considered the best AI for coding. Period. I'm talking cleaner, more thoughtful code. It catches those weird edge cases that other models just seem to miss all the time. And then you've got Google. Oh, the irony here is just delicious. Google researchers actually invented the core transformer technology that powers all of these modern AI models, every single one. And yet they totally got outmaneuvered on the product side by ChatGPT. So now they're playing catch up, and their strategy is all about leveraging their biggest weapon, their massive existing ecosystem. By baking their AI, Gemini, right into Gmail, Docs, and Search, they're making it an essential part of a billion users' daily workflows. It's that classic, powerful walled garden effect. Google's other superpower is this number right here, over 1 million. What is that? That's the number of tokens in Gemini's context window. Now, a token is roughly 3/4 of a word, so a 1,000,000 token window means Gemini can process and remember a truly enormous amount of information at once. We're talking about feeding it an entire book series, a massive code base, or hours of video, and it just gets it. It's an absolute game changer for deep research and really complex analysis. Finally, in our big 4, we have Meta, which just took a completely different road. Instead of building a closed product, they gave their powerful Llama models away for free. It's a massive strategic bet. The thinking is, if the AI models themselves become a cheap commodity, then the real value shifts to the platforms that use them, like Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. Their open approach could totally upend the economics of this entire industry. And wow, this chart just illustrates that philosophical divide perfectly. I mean, just look at the scores. You've got Meta way out ahead at 95%, fully embracing the open source community. And then all the way at the other end, you have OpenAI, which, kind of ironic name, at just 10%. This isn't just some technical detail, you guys. This is a fundamental split in how these giants see the entire future of AI. But hold on, the story doesn't just end with the big 4. Not at all.
A whole new class of challengers has popped up, and they're pushing the industry in some really exciting new directions. So let's do a quick fire round of the other key players you absolutely need to know about.
First up, Mistral AI, coming out of Paris. They've basically become Europe's answer to American AI dominance. Their whole thing is creating these smaller, super efficient open-source models that punch way above their weight. That focus on efficiency means you can run powerful AI on cheaper hardware, which really democratizes access. They're a huge player in that whole conversation around European AI sovereignty. Next, we have DeepSeek, which was kind of the big surprise of 2025. This Chinese company basically figured out how to get top-tier performance at a fraction of the cost, both for training and running the models. And that sent these massive shockwaves through the industry. They're proving that frontier AI doesn't have to cost billions, which is putting some serious pressure on the pricing models of the big guys.
Of course, we have to talk about Elon Musk's xAI and its model, Grok. Its unique killer feature is its real-time access to the live data stream from X, formerly Twitter. So while other models are trained on old, static data, Grok understands public conversation as it's happening. That gives it this unparalleled edge when it comes to current events.
And finally, let's look at Kimi K2 from Moonshot AI. Now, while other models are great at just chatting, Kimi is what we call an agentic powerhouse. It's designed specifically to handle complex, multi-step tasks all by itself. So think of it less like a chatbot and more like a worker that can use tools and manage entire workflows without you needing to hold its hand. It's a real glimpse into the future of autonomous systems. Okay, so you've heard me say open source and closed source a few times now. And I need you to know this isn't just some nerdy technical detail. It is probably the most important decision you'll have to make. It's a fundamental choice about your privacy, about cost, and about control that really affects every single person using these tools. So let's break down the trade-offs. With the closed-source models like GPT or Claude, what you get is that cutting-edge, top-of-the-line performance and a really polished, easy-to-use product. The downside? Well, your data is being sent to their servers, so there's no real privacy, and you're totally locked into their pricing. On the flip side, with open-source models like Llama, you get total privacy because you can run it on your own machine. There are no API costs, and you can customize it however you want. The catch? You gotta have the hardware. And yeah, it can be a little more of a hands-on DIY kind of experience. So how do you actually choose? Let me give you a super simple decision flow. Step 1, ask yourself, is privacy your absolute #1 non-negotiable priority? If the answer is yes, then your choice is made. Go with open source, period. If not, move to step 2. Do you need the absolute latest, most powerful, bleeding-edge features? If yes, then closed source is probably your best bet right now. And finally, step 3. Are you going to be running a huge volume of requests where API costs would just be insane? If so, the cost savings of going open source might be the thing that decides it for you.
Okay, we've met the players, we've debated the philosophies. Now let's get to the most practical part of this whole thing, actually building your ultimate AI shopping list, matching the right tool to the right job.
Think of this matrix as your personal cheat sheet for building your AI toolkit. For just general chat and brainstorming, yeah, ChatGPT is still a great default. But if you're doing serious coding, you really should be using Claude Opus. If you're doing research where you need actual verifiable sources and citations, Perplexity is the answer, no question. And for any sensitive work, anything you wouldn't want to leak, you have to run an open source model like Llama locally on your own computer. The huge takeaway here is that there is no single best AI for everything.
All right, let's do a super quick, rapid-fire summary. Number 1, use multiple tools for different tasks. Don't be a one-trick pony. 2, open source isn't just for hobbyists anymore. It is thriving and it is seriously competitive. 3, each of the major players, from OpenAI to DeepSeek, has a unique, defensible strength. 4, this is a global race now, with players from China and Europe competing right at the frontier. And 5, the most important point of all, the best tool for you depends 100% on your specific needs.
And that really brings us to the central theme of this entire explainer. The truly smart approach here isn't about finding that one magical, perfect AI that does everything. It's about understanding this landscape well enough to build your own personal toolkit of specialized AIs.
So there you have it. You've met the players. You understand their philosophies and their strengths. Now the question isn't just who you'll bet on to win. It's what are you going to build with your new toolkit. The 2025 AI marketplace is wide open, and now it's yours to explore.